Welcome everyone to the Green Fork Food for Thought podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Zabala. Today we have with us a special guest, Rebbekka Graziano, or Reba as she's known. She is the owner of Battleground Fitness in Saratoga. She's been in the fitness industry for so many years and helped shape so many lives and bodies over the years. She's a cultivator of community. She's a positive force to be reckoned with and an absolute inspiration. So thanks for being here today. Thanks for coming on the podcast. And why don't we just start off? You can just tell everybody and myself a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in fitness, all that kind of stuff.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all.
Of course.
Well, I have been moving literally my entire life.
Yeah.
My mom used to tell me a story that when I would come home from school and I needed to burn energy, I would go ask to run back and forth in the field a couple times.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got into karate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I did karate for, I want to say like 4 years. I worked
all
up
these years
to,
I've known you, and I did not know that. Oh, wow.
I want to say when I hit 7th grade, I had to make a decision.
Yeah.
And it was either karate or after school was sports.
Yeah.
So I chose sports.
Yeah.
Regret that decision every single day. But,
Well, there's always time to go back to it.
There is. So then I got into soccer. Mm-hmm. And I played soccer when I was really little too. And then after that, I found my love for running. Did cross country for many years, ran for Greenwich, so we had a pretty good team. We went to states every year.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of when I discovered kind of the direction I wanted to go.
Yeah.
I realized that I wanted to keep my body moving as long as I could through my life.
Yeah.
So I also had a severe hip dislocation my senior year. So I learned a lot in the next few years after that.
Yeah.
And when I went to college, I started off as an athletic trainer.
Okay.
Decided I really didn't want to go that direction. So
Yeah.
I went a little bit more general and found the just personal training group atmosphere and kind of fell in love.
So you worked in that industry, or you went to school for that?
I went to school for that.
Okay.
I went to SUNY Cortland
Mm-hmm.
and had a ball out there myself.
Yeah.
But I met a lot of great people out there as well, and a lot of people who I still admire, and I see them, that things that they told me just have stuck with me all of these years later.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure we'll get to some of those topics on this call.
Yeah.
And then, where was I going with that after that? So after that, I found my internship, which is a gym that no longer exists anymore, but it was called Fit Strength and Conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
Spent about 6 years there, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? So we opened up Battleground in October of 2020, and it's just been a hell of a ride ever since.
Yeah,
So
nice.
that kind of covers at least the athletic side of my...
Yeah, so you played sports, you did cross-country track, and then the injury kind of spawned you to like, oh, what's really going on with the body, and how can I rehab myself and just learn as much as I can. That's great. Fit Strength is where we met.
Yep.
Many years ago. When did I come back? It must have been 2018.
I want to say it was 18.
Yeah.
Because I want to say we were a good year together before
COVID hit.
COVID hit.
Yeah. Messed everything up. But actually, it worked out for the best, didn't it?
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, so we met there, and you were head coaching over there for a while, and then you left right before COVID hit. At that time, I had been training there for about a year, and I felt so restless when COVID hit. I could not just sit still, and I needed to keep moving, needed to keep going. So I ended up doing classes in the park, just dragging kettlebells and dumbbells back and forth from the state park.
That.
And a lot of that Saratoga crew was there at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And then, that summer came to an end, and I was also like, what am I going to do? I can't keep doing this all winter. And you called me, and you're like, hey, I'm going to start a gym. I'm going to do this. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm on board. Let's go.
I remember that phone call so clearly.
Yeah. I was in my car right outside my apartment at the time. And you asked me to come help you out with that, and we've been doing it ever since, and it's been like you said, it's been a wild ride. You're over on Maple Avenue in Saratoga, and you started out in the one location, and even, like, we started out in masks, but we do a lot of stuff outside still, and then you grew, and moved into a bigger location. What's it been like having a business? I mean, I know as a fellow business owner, it's a lot of learning, making mistakes, ups and downs, and you can really grow a lot from it. But what's like the biggest lesson you've learned as a business owner?
The hardest one is to separate life and business.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like sometimes I get so consumed and I don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
So then it leads into my life and things can go up and down from there.
Yeah.
So I would say that's been the hardest one, but I have learned so much about myself over the last almost 5 years. Yeah. And that's the crazy part to me. Yeah. Is I've grown in every aspect, like literally every aspect of your life that you could possibly. And when you have those up and downs in the businesses, it's like you have those up and downs in your life as well. And you just learn to keep pushing through. Yeah, you learn from every experience. Yeah. You certainly do. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things that I love about you so much is that you do care so much about everybody. You know, all your members, all your friends and family, and that's a really endearing quality. And I can see that kind of, you know, like you said, having to separate that. Sometimes you have to make tough decisions, and you know, I've seen you make some of those tough decisions, and it's hard. But you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes, and that is how you learn and grow as a person. Just, you know, I was telling my friend before about, you know, the bank account starts to get low, things start to get tight. You're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And just being able to ride through that and continue to push and come up with new ideas and just, you know, make the best out of it and show up every day and do your best. Like, that's, I don't know, that's really big. And I think it progresses you forward so much more than if you just had some 9-to-5 job somewhere else or working for somebody else. Because it makes you work so much harder because it's yours. It's yours, it's like, you want to just see it keep moving forward. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and like I said, you care so much that, like, it really comes through in everything you do. Well, I try to keep everybody happy, and I know I can't please everybody, but as a whole, you know, I hate seeing people sad or hurt, and it's hard for me, so I don't know. And sometimes when I'm having a bad day, it's hard to leave that behind as well and remember that they have to come first. Yeah. You know, every single day you walk in there and it's like, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You try to make sure that hour that you spend with your clients is the best that they're going to get all day. Yeah. Yeah, well, you try. Even my wacky, weird dance and singing moves that I put out there. Well, so. I mean, I can't tell you how many classes I've taught. I might have been in a bad mood, but by the end of it, I feel so much better. You know, because it's like... You're moving your body. You're moving your body, but like the social connection too, you know. I get most of my socialization at the gym with these people that come and go. You know, you spend an hour with them and we get maybe 10, 12 people at a time. And a lot of them have become good friends over the years. And so, you know, just being in that uplifting, positive, you know, loud music, people moving, it really boosts me up too sometimes. Absolutely. Yeah. It helps me too. There's some mornings I get up and I'm struggling. And I get there and once I get moving and people start vibing with me, it instantly changes my day too. So yeah, that's one of the best things about doing what we do, right? Is working with people and just, you know, creating a vibe, creating energy and of like positivity, you know, and just uplifting and watching people grow. I mean, how many lives do you think you've changed over the years? And how good does that feel to say that kind of thing? Hundreds. Yeah. Like this will be actually we've hit 12 years, 11 years. I don't know. I've been doing it 10 or 11, 12 years. So there's a lot of people, different locations. Yeah. A lot of relationships built. A lot of relationships. Yeah. So many. Yeah. In which that's something I try to make sure I connect with everybody. Like, you want to know your clients. Yeah. Not just put them through a workout and on to the next. Yeah. Yeah, you really have to meet them where they're at. You know, not everybody's going to be on the same level. One thing I love about what we do, which you do at Battleground, is, you know, modifications for everybody. So you might put a really tough workout out there up on the board, but if you can't do a certain thing, there's something else you can do. And so, you know, knowing everybody, what level they're at and how to meet them there and so that they can get the best workout and they can feel good about themselves, that's really, you know, that's a game changer because a lot of places won't do that.
you know?
And that's the thing with fitness. It's like, not every move is made for everybody.
Yeah.
So if something doesn't feel good, let the coaches know. Like, we can help. Like, that's one thing that I love about our classes is we can accommodate all ages as well as all fitness levels. So it's like, if someone's in there a little bit more advanced, we can push them to that level. Yeah. Otherwise, we can take it down or sub out a movement. Like, I want people walking out of there feeling good every day.
Yeah.
And that's the goal.
Yeah.
I feel like to feel good.
Yeah, right. It's not, you know, different people have different goals. It's not always about getting the biggest biceps or running the fastest or whatever. People just have different goals. And, you know, one of the things that I like about what you do and your passion for creating programs is that you are able to accommodate all those different levels, right? So, like, if you want to get faster, you can get faster. If you want to get stronger, you can get stronger. You want to build bigger biceps, you can do that too, you know? And so, what I love too is that you and I talk about all the time programming and just like nerding out on that stuff and just different types of movements, because we're both anatomy and physiology geeks and fitness geeks, and you know, we're always sharing reels on Instagram about like some cool exercise that we saw that we're going to try out, and then the people have fun with that and they like it. Talk me through your process of like, how do you create programming?
Well, to me, it all comes down to longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end of the day, the goal is to do this up into your 80s, 90s, like, keep moving. So I tend to go in 4-week cycles. So over the course of 4 weeks, you're going to pick a few main lifts that we're going to focus on. So it could be a deadlift, a squat, and bench press, an overhead press, any of those, and multiple variations of those exercises to keep it fresh. And then throughout the month, you're progressing, whether you're going up in your reps or you're going up in your weight or you're pushing an RPE or whatever it might be. And then also, if it's a new exercise, it gives you that time from week to week to learn and understand the movement so you can feel it where you should be working it.
Yeah.
And then in the next month, we switch it up. And then we actually just switched our programming structure. So now we're focusing on total body every single day, Monday through Saturday. 3 of those days are focused a little bit more towards your strength, so a little bit more weight focus, slowing down, adding more rest in there. And then the other 3 days is we're getting the heart rate up, challenging the lungs, make sure you're breathing a little heavier, but you're not focusing as much heavier weight. So it's about moving a little bit faster, or we're exploring body weight movements. Like, I love your primal movements. Like, it's a whole nother realm for me that I love learning. So
I think you know, adding mobility in there too, because I think so many people are focused on all they know is from the bodybuilding world, where it's like 3 sets of 10, you know, and sorry about that, 3 sets of 10, and you know, just hypertrophy training, and that seems to be what the general population knows. But when you get with actual coaches and trainers that know that it's more about body mechanics and progressive overload, which you were just talking about, and then throwing in mobility in there too, just to, you know, for the longevity's sake, you know, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. You're going to get stiff and, you know, bored and whatever. So, and
multiple planes.
Yeah.
That's like, there's so many just straightforward movements, and it's like our body isn't made to move like that. Our body is made to move in so many different positions. So it's like going frontal plane, sagittal plane, making sure we're really challenging the core from every angle.
Twisting,
Absolutely. So building just the body from the inside out. And I love single arm or single leg movements. Like, everybody has imbalances. I have imbalances. I know I have one shoulder that's worse than the other, but in order to strengthen that, you have to isolate it and progress from there. So I try to keep the basics in line, but then spice it up with some of our accessory movements, the core movements. But I don't know, I'm a straightforward type person.
But you have the knowledge behind everything you're doing. Everything you're writing in there has an intention and a purpose. So it's all meant to be there for a reason, and that is to strengthen the whole body. I love the switch to the total body, because I think, you know, like I said before, everything we kind of know comes from the bodybuilding world. Not you and I, but most people. And it's so focused on just gaining muscle, when really, you know, I just feel like total body allows you to get more recovery time, train everything all at once, and you get the same amount of volume throughout the week, and you're not as sore, and you just, you get a better workout, your heart rate gets up a little higher. It's just, I think it's a clever way to go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with training like just your legs on one day or whatever, but it's just nice to switch it up.
And it all depends like what you're training for too. Like if you're specifically trying to build that mass, then you're going to want to hammer your legs or your upper body. But as a all around general pop, like try to get as much bang for your buck in an hour without overdoing it.
So you, in addition to doing cross country, then you actually went into powerlifting a little bit.
I did. I spent like 3 or 4 years powerlifting. And I loved it when I did it.
That's like the opposite of endurance training.
What I'm doing now. So, but you got to explore all the different realms, see what you like.
Oh, I think it's great.
Like, I've done a bunch of different things over the last 10 years. I will say I've been very proud of some things I've accomplished with powerlifting. Yeah,
tell me about that. So how was that journey for you?
I discovered it by going into a commercial gym one day with an ex-boyfriend, and some guy was like, you should be powerlifting with the amount that you're lifting. And I was like, okay. I gave this guy a weird look. And then I seriously considered it. So I signed up for my first powerlifting meet at Albany Strength. Went in there, absolutely crushed it, fell in love.
Yeah.
That was like the end of it.
It feels good lifting big weights.
It does.
Yeah.
It's very empowering.
Yeah.
So then I went out to a seminar at Cressy Sports Performance. It was with the 3 big lifts. And Tony Bonvecchio was someone who was there, and he did online powerlifting coaching. So I signed up with him and never looked back.
Yeah.
So then I discovered that I actually am pretty strong.
Yeah.
So I decided why not try to go for the Arnold Classic.
Cool.
So in June of 2018, I did a meet where I had to hit a certain total. I qualified and I made my way out there.
Nice. What are those big 3 lifts?
You have a squat, a bench, and a deadlift.
Okay.
In that order. And when you're powerlifting, you get 3 attempts. Okay. So you kind of have to strategize how you're going to do this.
Your energy and all that. Yeah.
Yep. So you get your first 3 attempts with your squat, and then everybody will transition into 3 attempts for your bench, and then the deadlift is the final hurrah. And there's a whole bunch of commands that you'll have to follow. If you miss a command, you could get a red light. If you get 2 red lights, lift doesn't count. So you definitely have to be smart with.
You have to go all the way down, all the way up.
Yep.
Pause
So the bench is the trickiest one. That's where we always see the most red lights. Like after you take the weight off of the rack, you have to wait there until they say bench. Then you lower down to your chest. You have to hold it there until they say press. And then once you lock your elbows out, you have to hold it there until they say rack.
Yeah.
Most people will miss the rack command because if they press it, they're so excited. They're like, I just did this. And then
you just want to slam it against the rack real loud.
So when you're training, you are literally repeating these commands in your head every single rep until it's just second nature. Yeah.
And how'd you do with that? What were your numbers?
So the biggest lifts I ever hit was a 365 back squat. Yeah. I hit a 200-pound bench and then a 365 deadlift.
Wow.
The squat was my jam.
Yeah.
That was my jam for sure.
Yeah, that's great. I
couldn't do that today though.
Yeah. Well, you were training a while for it.
Oh yeah.
The programming for that was probably pretty
very heavy, very slow. You had to put a lot of rest in between your sets. There was a lot of like tempo work, paused work, getting comfortable with that load in those positions, like holding the bottom of a squat. That's full depth.
Yeah.
If you didn't hit it, red light.
So what was your nutrition like when you did that?
I was spot on. Every Sunday I would spend a couple hours in the kitchen and I was focusing on super high protein. I mean, protein is always important.
Yeah.
No matter what, just for daily life. Mm-hmm. But because of the amount I was lifting, I had to have more carbs in there.
Oh yeah.
Just to fuel my body.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of chicken.
Yep. Keep it simple.
Chicken, rice, and broccoli. That was my life for a long time.
I feel like people get so scared about carbs. There's so much demonization about carbs when it's if you're going to perform as an athlete, you need carbs. That's your primary fuel source.
Yep.
You got to have them. if you want to hit that lift or that PR, whatever it is that you're doing, you got to have carbs in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% there.
So then after powerlifting, you kind of just did like maintenance stuff.
So the week before the Arnold, I actually hurt my shoulder.
Right before.
It was literally that Monday. Yeah. I woke up Tuesday and I'm like, what is going on? I got in, got my chiropractor. Wednesday I flew out. So I competed anyways, but then I spent many months after that rehabbing my shoulder because I pushed it to the point where it was overworked.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing actually wrong. No one could ever find anything. X-rays, MRIs, had a cortisone shot, but
just to get through the meet.
This was after the meet.
Oh, okay.
I did whatever it took, just that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had
push through it.
Mom was rubbing my shoulder that morning, making sure we were good to go. Oh yeah. Yeah. It didn't affect me. Actually, what bothered me the most was getting under the bar into a back squat.
Oh yeah, because it's just in that position.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was a big blow mentally for me.
Yeah.
So coming back from that was really
you
challenging.
You still did really good though.
Yeah. So it was like you worked that hard to get there, and you're like, I'm not going to let this stop me. So
Hell no.
I pushed through to the meet, but going from what I was doing to not being able to literally use my upper body at all.
Yeah.
Like I went into a dark space for.
So how did that change like your training?
Big time.
Yeah.
That was 2019. Mm-hmm. So for a couple months, I really wasn't pushing upper body. It was running, walking, body weight squats, like just getting to the point where I was comfortable. Like just taking a sports bra off was excruciating.
Yeah, I mean, I've dealt with injuries myself, and I feel like everybody out there has done the same thing.
From them.
You do. It can be very frustrating, but you can't let it get you down. You got to work with what you have. Do the best you can with what you have. I say that so often, but it's so true, and you can definitely learn other ways of training, right? You can learn a little bit more about your own body. Like, okay, you did have this injury. What's going on here? How can I prevent it? How can I, work it back up to where it was or the best that it will be? But I feel like a lot of people get discouraged about that, and I get it, but you got to keep pushing.
I saw something that helped me, and it was like this person who was doing something they loved, and they had a very serious accident, and it made them paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I said, I can still walk. I'm grateful for movement today, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So I just kept telling myself that every single day, and I eventually got myself out of that dark spot in my brain and just did what I could.
Yeah.
I did a lot of core work that wasn't resulting in like planks. Like I couldn't do those, or I'd elevate myself up. I just would find ways to keep moving. Yeah. Because without that, I go cuckoo up in my brain.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need to move.
Yeah, you're an athletic person. You're somebody that moves. I'm the same way, and I think that's the struggle, right? It's like, oh no, I can't do this again. Well, yes, you can. It's just going to look a little different.
Walking.
Yeah.
Like walking is so underrated.
Oh, it really is.
So underrated.
Yeah, it clears your mind. I mean, besides the physical benefits, it clears your mind. I love to go out and walk and throw an audiobook or a podcast on.
Sometimes I just don't listen to anything at all. Like I literally just let my thoughts roll. Yeah. Or wherever my brain wants to go. Yeah. It's my form of disconnecting sometimes, especially when it gets nice out. Yeah. Take the dogs for a walk, and I just.
You need that.
Don't think.
Yeah, you need that.
I don't purposely think. Like my brain will never stop working.
Oh, right,
but, you don't purposely.
Yeah, that's like meditation. Your thoughts are like clouds, and some days your sky might be real dark and stormy. Other days you might have times where there's less clouds, and but I think that's super important, especially like as a business owner, as somebody, as an athlete, as a real go-getter with a lot of stuff on your mind, a lot of stuff on your plate, to just be able to take 5-10 minutes at least and go out and do something for yourself and just help with that stress management.
Absolutely.
I always talk about 5 pillars of health, right? You have your physical, your nutrition, your sleep, hydration, all that stuff, but also mental health, financial wealth, or financial health, and then spirituality too. And all those things play a huge factor. So it's more than just what you do in the gym. They all kind of overlap. I find that like the stress relief comes from me in the gym a lot of times, just blasting the heaviest music I can find and lifting heavy weights. And sometimes that's good, but sometimes it's a walk,
Mm-hmm.
Just to clear your mind.
And sometimes I just love laying in the sun for 5-10 minutes.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I just literally lay on the deck and I just soak it in. I don't do anything, and it just is like a little recharge for me.
Oh yeah.
The warmth of the sun changes my mood instantly.
Yeah, love it. I love
Simple
it.
things.
Yeah, little things. Yeah, just like you said, just to like disconnect. And with so much stuff on our plate, I mean, you know, I'm a business owner too, single father, and just juggling a lot of different things. Finding those little moments and just to enjoy, like watching a bird. I just made a post the other day about this bird that was going nuts, making all kinds of noise. And then I have to laugh at myself because I'm like, oh, I really just looked at this bird for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I needed that.
It's the simple things.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many little things that I think we do throughout the day that we take advantage of.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, or
should be
don't
grateful
recognize.
for. Or don't, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So after powerlifting, now you're training for a high rocks, which is like another whole different aspect of fitness.
Yep. It's actually it's less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
I'm getting very excited.
Yeah, you're ready.
I'm so ready.
Yeah.
So beyond ready. But it's a whole nother realm. Like I've done Spartan races in the past, but I have been so focused on like strength that I got away from running because of that dislocation. Like it just hurt me.
Yeah.
But I told myself that I'm a smarter runner now than I was in high school. So it's like something's bothering me, there's something I can do to fix it.
Yeah.
But I've learned to love running again. I never thought I'd say that in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's your first love. That's what got you into it, right?
It really is. I used to go out and walk in the fields, run in the fields. So it really did start stemming from running.
So if you're cross country and soccer, that's mostly endurance. Powerlifting is power. And these are two different like functions of fitness, two different aspects, if you will. And then high rocks, would you call that? It's like hybrid almost, right?
It's hybrid because there are certain weight requirements for each movement, and you need to be able to move with those pretty smoothly. But a lot of endurance. You
got to have strength. You got to have endurance. You have to be able to recover quickly. Yep. It's pretty intense.
Breathing techniques are huge, but by the end of it, you're running 5 miles.
Yeah.
So
on top of sled pushes and sandbag pulls and pull-ups and all that crap.
Yeah, there is ski erg, sled push, sled pull, burpee broad jumps, farmer carry, rowing, walking lunges, and wall walls.
Yeah, that's pretty comprehensive. That's almost like CrossFit.
Yeah, I think that's where they pulled it from. Yeah. Like it's the next CrossFit Games.
With no Olympic weightlifting.
Right, so it allows people anybody.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to qualify. So like I have seen so many people through social media who have accomplished this. Like people in wheelchairs, people who are in their 80s, like late 80s. And it's just so motivating to see that. Oh, it's so
inspiring, yeah.
Like I love seeing older individuals out there moving. I don't care how it is, but that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It lets the fire in my belly.
Yeah. The last Spartan I just did with Dave, you know, we both know Dave and my son, we went down to New Jersey, and there was one fella who was in a wheelchair, and he had a whole team of people that were helping him get through it. And there was this gnarly hill, like up through the woods with it was a short, narrow path, almost straight uphill through the woods. And they were carrying him, and they were getting him through it. And you see that kind of thing, you're like, wow, this is so inspiring, so motivating. And you know, you wish them well and move on, but it's like it sticks with you.
You can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
It really is so true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And we've got some people at Battleground that have overcome quite a bit of obstacles in their life and are doing great too. We get all types of people, which I think is great. And again, you go back to those type of connections that you make with people and just people from different walks of life, you know. You could have an athlete. We've got police, firemen. We've got stay-at-home moms. We've got everybody in between.
Nurses, teachers, lawyers. I just said, I think it was this morning, I go, the amount of different jobs that people hold for our clients are just so broad.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it brings everybody together into the community. Together. Yeah. One of the things I might have said this before, I just really love the community aspect of it, and just
it's
like
my second family.
Yeah, it's so great, and you really cultivated an amazing thing there. And some of these people have been with you for longer than I've known her. I mean,
there's a couple clients who've been with me for a decade.
Yeah, yeah, and that's great, and that speaks to your training and your personality. People want to be with you, you know, over time. So it's great. You're really doing a great thing. How do you think? Well, actually, let me ask this: what do you love most about what you do?
Helping people.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's so simple, but to see or hear someone say, like, I've never done this, or I never thought I would do this in my life, it brings such joy to my heart. Like,
Yeah.
I want people to be moving easier in their life. So whatever I can do to help with that,
Yeah.
it's my favorite part.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think so too. I think, I've received a lot of feedback with Green Fork too, and just like the nutrition and helping people with that. People either don't know, and this is why you outsource to people that do know, experts. Yep. Like fitness coaches and nutrition experts and therapists and whoever is an expert in the field, financial advisors. But that feedback really kind of gives me the motivation to keep going sometimes. Like we talked about when you kind of experience a little bit of burnout, sometimes it's like the same thing over and over. That feedback really just gives you the push to keep going.
Absolutely.
Because you're helping people. And like you said you've been into some dark places. So have I. I think so has everybody. And if you've been there, you know how much it sucks. And I think it's a certain type of person, like you and I, who want to help people get out of those dark places and live their best lives.
We're part therapist.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, I can tell when somebody walks in, like the kind of mood they're in. If it's been a good day, bad day, if they're tired, like.
Yeah.
And I want them to know, like, I'm here. Like, if this is where your outlet needs to be, let it out with the weights. Let it out with talking to me or talking to any of our coaches. Like, we are all here to help. So,
I've seen you stay after class and talk to people for hours, just about anything, you know?
If people need that, then that's what I'll do.
Yeah. I've had sessions as a personal trainer where we barely worked out because they were just yapping. And, it felt, of course you want to be like, all right, let's get to the next set or whatever. But, if it feels like a genuine connection, it feels like they're getting more out of it by just talking to me, I'll be that, I'm not a licensed therapist, but I feel like there's something about being in that atmosphere of people that actually care, which you obviously do, that makes people want to open up, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What have you learned about, like, just being in business as a business owner? And I might have asked you this before, but I just know that I've learned so much with the ups and downs of as far, like, I'm not tech savvy at all, but I've had to develop systems with all kinds of crap on the computer that
technology, like, if I didn't have to use it, I wouldn't. Like, I agree. There's so much more than you think that you have to do. Like, I've learned that I have certain days that I have certain tasks for, so that way by the end of the week I don't feel so overwhelmed. Because you have not only just the coaching part, but then you have the whole back end of it. And that's just running the business. Then in today's world, you have the whole social media, which is where I go in waves, where I'm really good with it and then I'm not really good with it. It's tough. Like, I always feel like I need to come up with new content, and then you're always telling me, just do it. Just put it out there.
Just put it out there.
Put it out there. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be 100%. But learning, even to just put like a reel together, that has been time consuming. Like,
I don't even do that myself. I hire out for that. I've got a social media person that does it for me, and I think it's better that way. It takes it off my plate. If there are things I want to post, I'll post them, but I just let somebody else handle that because it's a little too much. And also, like, I'll try to share stuff at the gym if I'm there, if something cool, if like the vibe is really cool, I'll be like, oh yeah. But a lot of times I'm in the moment, I don't really think about pulling my phone out.
And that's where, like, going way back, I always used to feel so guilty if I had the phone in my hand. Like, I feel like my attention needs to be with the people in the room, like you just said. So it's hard for me sometimes to want to capture this or capture that and then put it together.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's the only way these days that people really get to see the vibe
Yep.
of what's really happening, is to like, not necessarily film a whole class or anything, but like, if the music's bumping, you got a full class in there and the vibe is super high, like
10 seconds here or there,
10
like
seconds.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, Rebbekka.
For sure.
Take your phone out.
Yeah, do it, because and people like to see themselves out there,
and
so
then share what they're proud of. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, if you see, I know a lot when we were doing the strength phase and we had people hitting 1 rep maxes, you film those and people are so proud of them. They're like, oh, let me get that video.
Yep.
You want to film everybody's achievements because the energy in the room is so high when people are hitting their PRs and everybody's going for it and cheering each other on.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
I love it.
Yeah. So
I vibe off of it.
Oh my God, so much. Yeah, I'm like, oh, give me that bar. I want to try it. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with sharing all that stuff out there, because somebody that, maybe it might be intimidating to see it, see somebody like, oh, I could never, but you can. Anybody can. And it might not look like what he or she is doing, but it'll look like what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. A little unrelated, but what do you think like the toughest part about being in this industry is?
Social media and the content that others put out there that could be like misleading.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you want to get into a pet peeve of mine, it's
Let's go there.
Though for women who automatically assume that strength training is correlated with huge muscle mass and putting like bulk on.
Yeah.
That's my biggest pet peeve in this industry, because it's just not true.
Yeah.
Like, you can easily be strong without like the huge muscle mass.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to diet too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you're eating a ton of carbs, then you're going to pack on that muscle a little bit easier than if you were to focus on what you are consuming.
Yeah, people want to sculpt and tone and all this and that, and really what you're talking about is losing body fat and gaining muscle mass. But you say gaining muscle mass and people think they're going to blow up like a bodybuilder. It's like, no, that takes years and years of discipline and like a lot of hard work. If you lift heavy, 2-3 times a week, you're not going to get there, but you are going to feel a lot better.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely a big thing too. I always tell people, like, I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, right.
How many guys wish that they were just like get jacked overnight? Like, no, it doesn't take. It takes a long time.
Very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me a couple of years before I could even really start noticing a little muscle mass going on.
Yeah, and like you said, 15 years.
But I was dedicated to doing it.
Yeah.
So
and it
I had an
shows.
intention of doing that.
Yeah.
But I love strength training because of all the things it'll help with, like bone density. People don't realize that once you hit a certain age, it's just gonna keep dropping. So it's use it or lose it.
Yeah.
So keeping that up, keeping your muscle mass up there as well, like that's gonna help prolong your life and the quality of your life.
Yeah.
Like, somebody had a really great example last week that I loved, and I did share it. But if you were older and you stepped off a curb just right, what do you think most older individuals are going to do?
Yeah, probably twist their ankle or something.
Fall down, twist their ankle, bust a hip.
Yeah.
But being able to strength train and focus on even some plyos and your core, like, that's going to allow you to respond with a faster reaction, so that way you're less likely to hurt yourself as you get older.
Yeah. It's
there's so many more benefits than just muscle mass.
Yeah, just looking good and being big. It's the principle of adaptation. That's really what it all comes down to. And you do progressive overload too, but whatever you consistently do, your body's going to adjust to that. So if you're sitting in your computer all day, your body's going to adjust to that and you're not going to feel good. So if you're training in the gym and you're doing different plyometric movements, strength training, your body's going to be more able to handle all these things. And that's where, again, mobility is like so big and people neglect it so much. But like reaching back to grab something out of the back seat, you can twist your back and pull something. Yeah. But if you do those rotational movements in the gym, you're going to be all right.
Just fine.
Yeah. Why is it so important for women specifically to train strength?
I mean, I definitely hit a couple of those already. So it's like your bone density, your muscle mass, but like it also stems into, like you said earlier, in those 5 pillars of fitness, like mentally too. Like you're mentally stronger. Like you have this boost of confidence because you're like, I can do this. And there's just so many functions within the body that it benefits from. Like there's just so many of them. Yeah. It's something that I really wish everybody could get them. Just try it. And try it for a couple of weeks before you decide to just brush it off. Yeah. Like you might even decide that you love it.
Yeah, I think you will. I think after a little bit, I mean, obviously people get sore, you know, you go through muscle soreness, but after that, like initial maybe couple months, you start to notice a difference in the way you feel. For me, it's like, you know, if I start training hard, I'm kind of in like a maintenance mode right now. I haven't really been trying to go for anything specific, but you know, if you stay consistent, you start to notice a difference in the way you feel, and then the way you look, and all of that stuff just breeds confidence, and you move through the world, you know, just head up, shoulders back.
And it kind of goes to also, like, in a way, like the scale. So, like, most people are so obsessed with the number on the scale. Yeah. But what they don't realize is muscle mass is going to weigh more than fat. Yeah. So, like, when you hit that composition change and your clothes start fitting better, there's that confident boost. You're like, I am making a difference. So it's like, that's another thing where I'm like, get away from that number.
The scale. And BMI.
BMI, another one. Yes.
It's bullshit.
Oh, it's so bullshit. Yeah. Like, it needs to be erased from the planet.
I know, right? Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
They consider me overweight.
Right.
Because I have more muscle mass. Yeah. So it's like, because of my height and my weight strictly. Yeah. They consider me overweight, which
Don't
is
ridiculous. Pay attention to BMI. The best thing you can do is like an in-body scan or a DECA scan, which will give you your skeletal mass. It reads everything. It's your body fat and your muscle mass and everything. So that's a way better indicator of where you're at as far as body composition. And like we said before, lean muscle versus body fat. You want to have less body fat, more lean muscle. And then, just be able to move. Yeah. Be able to bend over and touch your toes. Be able to run around with your kids out.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a big one for a lot of people. Yeah. Grandkids, like, they are out active and moving all the time. Yeah. So being able to keep up with them. Yeah. Or go up the flight of stairs without being out of breath. Like, there's so many more simple things in life that we train for instead of just to look good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's such a well-rounded.
I think if you go into it which it took me a while. I mean, I got into it through yoga, which was a little different. I'm glad that I got into it through that avenue because it really helped me to, like, with the mind-body connection and do it for more than just aesthetic purposes. But I feel like most people, if you're just wanting to get into it, you know, train for that purpose of, like, just living a good life and being able to move better, not feel, you know, injuries. Like, injury prevention, right? That's another one I don't think we talked about.
Moving correctly, absolutely. Yeah, that's a whole nother realm.
Yeah, if you're stronger, you're able to move better, and like I said, move with more confidence and just feel better. But go into it with that mindset. You know, people get intimidated by going to the gym, right? People, I've seen it so many times, like, oh, I got to get in shape first. Yeah. It's like, no, you don't.
No. Just start.
Just come here. There's all levels of people. We can modify for anything, any injuries, medical conditions, whatever. And we're just trying to improve your life, which it will do. But get into it for that aspect. And then once you get into it and you get the ball rolling, then you can start worrying about, like, PRs and
let's go and try to do this or run a half marathon or whatever your goal might be. It's all going to come back to just quality of movement.
Yeah. And I think, you know, having some sort of goal, though, is important. Whether it's just to have a vague goal of, like, I want to just be able to play with my kids and be in better shape. But I think also having SMART goals, you know, specific, what is it?
Measurable, attainable, realistic, and time.
Put a timeline on it. Yeah, having one of those type of goals, like you have your high rocks, and so you've been training for it, and that, like, gives you a sense of purpose. Yep. You know, so whether it's like, I am training for strength and I want to hit this number on my deadlift, in 6 weeks, or I want to be able to hit this yoga pose, or I want to be able to put my hips in this position. Then you have something to work for, and you train those things over and over again, and you get better at it. And that's also confident boosting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. What else you got going on? Is there anything happening at the gym? We got with the Murph workout.
Murph is coming up. We are hosting that this Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm getting excited for that.
This episode won't be out by then, but
Nope.
for everybody that wants to know what the Murph is.
It is a 1 mile run.
Yeah.
It is then 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and then another mile run.
No easy feat.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
It usually takes most people 45 to like 75 minutes, depending, on your fitness level.
Yeah.
In which I just love doing it because it is honoring all of those who have fallen, especially Lieutenant Michael Murphy, who sacrificed his life on a mission to save his brothers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Did you watch that movie Lone Survivor?
I definitely have.
Yeah.
I cry every time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. It's
a very sad movie.
Those were the toughest of the toughest guys, and I can't remember right now which one he was, but they all.
I think he was the head honcho, lieutenant.
And he was like on the top of that rock and like down to his last bullet on his pistol, and then he threw it at the guy. Yep. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So it's in honor of him. That's a workout that he used to do himself and put his crew through with a weighted vest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've only ever done it once with a weighted vest.
I don't think I've ever done it with one.
It's hard.
Yeah.
The pull-ups.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But again, that's like a goal. So if you have a workout like that that's planned out ahead of time in the future, we're writing workouts that are going to help you to get to that. So it's not such a bear.
More volume. So that way you're comfortable with the amount that you're going to get hit with.
Yeah.
But, we definitely offer options for pull-ups. Like, you don't have to be able to do 100 body weight pull-ups, whether it's assisted or we use the rings or band pull-downs, ring rows. There's so many ways to do that. Same with push-ups. Like, elevate up so the angle's a little bit easier, like whatever it might need to be for you. So. Yeah,
but you can't cheat those squats.
No, you can't.
You can't go bobbing up and down. Chris Ryan. Yeah. Those type of workouts are fun. I think, I've written what used to be Wednesday workouts for quite a while now, and they are notoriously hard.
Yes, they are.
And
you've kicked my ass.
Some people love them, some people don't like them, whatever. But, the ability to offer modifications, I think, is huge. And nobody should be intimidated to come to the gym, even if you see a super tough workout on the board. We can always modify it down. We've got rowers and bikes if you don't like to run.
Yes.
We've got boxes. If you don't like box jumps, you can do step ups or like whatever.
There is always another option.
And all the coaches here, Kenny, you, myself, we're all very knowledgeable, and we can modify however you need to. We have a woman in there that has vertigo. You can't lay on her back without getting dizzy. But she comes in. We modify. She's able to get a great workout, and she's moving, and she's great. She's a great sport.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah. So I think don't be scared to come in and just try a workout. Just move your body, and I think if you are getting started, the best way to get started is with a coach. Right? Even you yourself training for, you had a coach during your marathon training. I don't know.
Powerlifting.
You had a coach for powerlifting. You had a coach when you were doing cross country in high school.
I did.
And you're a fitness professional. Yeah. Right?
It's so hard to train yourself.
It is.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I don't want to do this today. No, the person's telling me I got to. So.
Yeah. I can't tell you. I go through phases. Sometimes I can work out on my own and it's fine. I'll be in my garage with heavy music going, lifting, and it feels great. But most of the time, I'm like, all right, I need to get my ass to a class because I just won't do it.
Yeah. I love working out with a group.
Oh, it's great, right?
It's just, even if I'm having a tougher day, it changes my mood.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, and even
they push you.
Even people like us who are pretty athletic, not to toot my own horn, but we're pretty athletic. We do this a lot, right? I still need that push.
Absolutely.
But also, I'll go in there and I'm not going to do everything. If my back's hurting, I'm not going to deadlift. I'll do a modification. I'll just do the best I can. And, you'll offer modifications or whatever and just come talk to me about how I'm doing. Oh, your back's hurting? Yeah, why don't you try this, So even people that have been doing this for years and years and years, you go into a class, it's your 100% is not the same every day.
And that's something I was hoping we were going to talk about.
Well, let's talk about it.
Because it's true. Like, you go in there and some days it's just not there. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to push what you were doing last week. Especially us females. We have a cycle. We are going to have a couple of weeks where it's just not going to go well.
Yeah.
So, that's why I'm like, whatever feels good today, you do that today.
Yeah.
Like, you are still doing some sort of movement. You are moving your body, preparing it for the day or winding down after a long day at work. Like, it's a release of some form, physical or mental.
Yeah.
And no, that's the hardest thing I think over the years it's been for me to really learn. It's like, okay, it's not there today. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I can today.
Yeah, you and so many others. I mean, I know. I've actually come to terms with it as I've gotten older.
Yep.
That, like, I've just been injured so many times. I've tried my hand at lifting heavy weights. I went through, like, a phase of, hypertrophy and I wouldn't say powerlifting, but I got the weights up pretty high. And it ended up in injury for me. My back specifically and my shoulder a little bit. But
same there.
Yeah, well, it's frustrating to deal with, but now I'm at the point where I'm just going to go and move, and that just feels good. Yeah, and I understand that, I'm not going to lift as heavy as I once did, but at the end of the day, I still just feel really good doing whatever I can do. And that's where the group class setting really helps, because, if I go to Planet Fitness or the Y or whatever by myself, I'll probably do the same boring thing I've always done, and that's one thing, but I probably won't do all the reps I'm supposed to do. It's just, I'm just being honest, where if you're at a gym and people are encouraging you, the motivation is there, the music's good, people are encouraging you, you're way more likely to just get it done in any way that you can.
It's accountability.
Yeah. And that this one coach that I had, getting back to your 100% today is not going to be what it was yesterday or the day before or whatever. He said, next one, best one. So, whatever you have, this next one is going to be the best one you can do. And it's just do the best you can with where you're at and what you have today. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, this industry, and I feel like that's another stigma we have in this industry, is everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's it's not. Every single day, you might have these intentions to eat really healthy, and it's we still have our days where we enjoy stuff too. If you're focusing on getting some water in, getting some protein in, eating some greens, your carbs, and do that consistently, that'll help you feel better as well. So it's
I think a big thing for
simplifying things
is keeping it simple. I was just going to say, having a goal. One of the best things about the 75 Hard Challenge was having the checklist. And it's all right, I got these things out of the way. Now whatever I do from here on out is okay. Big believer in the 80-20 principle too, where it's if you, let's say Monday through Friday you're good, and on the weekends you have a little bit of, cheesecake or have a couple beers or whatever it is for you. I know some people might disagree with that, but, I feel like everything in moderation. I feel
still have to live and have some fun, whatever that might be for you.
Yeah. And for some people, it might be living a completely regimented, dialed-in lifestyle. And I get it. It feels really good. I've been there and done that. But, I also, people always ask me, oh, you must eat really good. You're Mr. Fitness and Nutrition guy. I'm like, yeah, but I'm also a foodie. I like pizza.
Yeah.
I like fried
pizza
chicken.
Last night.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's life.
But it's not all the time. It's only that 20%, So you do have to still enjoy your life, but I think enjoying life can mean a lot of different things. And for people like you and I, it's getting a workout in, or a walk, or some yoga, or whatever. And that's just something that we enjoy doing that makes us feel better. And another coach that I follow and like, he's like, it's better on this side, is what he says.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So like, I don't know about you, but I've been in places where I didn't work out, drinking a lot, eating a lot of shit food, and I feel like garbage.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up hungover, you grab a...
You're in a daze.
Yeah,
You're
it's...
like, what's going on?
Yeah, and then I've also been really dialed in, and holy crap, yeah, it is better on this side. You just feel so much better.
So much better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Focus, clarity, drive, motivation, energy, all that stuff is there. So it is better on this side.
I notice it the most, my brain.
Yeah?
My thinking, my clarity. Like, if I eat something that I don't normally, like, that is where I'll see it first. Like, even today, just because I had that pizza last night. Like, yeah, it was good, delicious going down, but I'm a little foggy this morning. Yeah. It takes me a little longer to wake up and get moving.
Yeah. Well, when you're so dialed in, like you are, because you're training for this thing, every little thing matters. You were saying you had a couple glasses of wine, and you're like, oh my God, I can't move.
Yeah, and it takes one glass, and that's it. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, because your body's just so used to, like, good things coming in that they're like, what is this poison?
Yeah. I mean, I live off of Whole Foods. I have really tried to cut a lot of the processed stuff completely out. And when I do add it back in every now and then, bloated, uncomfortable, brain fog, and I'm like,
But for me, it's also this thing of like, if I'm dialed in and I'm eating really good, but then somebody comes and says, "Ooh, here's some homemade banana bread that my mother made," which
I know exactly what we're talking about.
Yep. You're like, no, I'm not gonna turn that down because it's a gift and it's it's made with love, it's homemade, whatever. Like you still have to be able to enjoy those type of things. I'm not gonna say no to something like that, So it's just a balance. I think, another stigma, I might have already said this, but a big stigma is that people have to be 100% dialed in all the time. And that's just not realistic. Nope. Maybe if you're training for something and you're super hardcore.
Paid for it and you have a little motivation behind it.
Yeah, sure. If you're an athlete, a paid athlete, or even these Instagram people, like the fitness models and stuff, I found that to be sort of a struggle to like, just in terms of like comparing myself to them, being like, oh, and I've seen it, great trainers that are not necessarily like jacked and ripped, but they're so smart and they have great programming and whatever else, and people don't take them seriously. And I've sort of dealt with my own issues in that regard, where it's like, I am a chef, I'm a foodie, and I eat things, so I don't have a six-pack all the time, and you compare yourself to these people, but the reality is these people are really young. Yes. They're really dialed in, and they'll make content within the course of like a week when they're super shredded. Yep. And then they'll just like keep putting that content out for a year, and they don't live their lives like that. So it's not a realistic goal to be jacked and ripped all the time. It's not good to be living at 3% body fat. No, there's no enjoyment. But it's also like when you're constantly like that, you're overwhelmed at the same time. Like all these things to accomplish, and it comes down to consistency. So it's like, think of it over the course of the week. If you focus on getting 3 workouts in, that's better than starting the week on Monday, Tuesday, and then, oh, I didn't make it Wednesday, I'm done the rest of the week. Yeah. It doesn't matter that way. If you're consistent with small things from week to week to week, you will see that progress. Or a change of whatever you are training for or living your life for. Yeah, I just think that people see stuff online and they think that that's like the majority when it's not, The best way to go about it is just like you said, like just try to be as consistent as you can. If you fall off, you get right back on the train. Who cares? Keep going. We're not perfect every day. Right. And we're leaders in this industry. Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. All right, we're talking about food. I have a question. We got to wrap up soon, but I'll finish with this question. Okay. So it is your last meal. And I ask everybody on this. So if you were on death row for whatever reason, I can't imagine Reba would ever be on death row. She's a saint. She wouldn't hurt a fly. Although I've seen her kill spiders. Brutal. If there's a big spider in that gym, it's not going to live. By the way, you have one of the cleanest gyms that I've ever seen.
Well, another of my
furiously cleaning.
obsessions is cleaning. So
Yeah.
I love moving, exercising, and cleaning.
Yeah.
It's my therapy. It's another form of my therapy.
I scrubbed my bathroom today. You'd be proud of me.
Woo! Yeah.
I did the shower and the toilet and everything, and just like everything got sprayed and scrubbed. But anyways, okay, last question. If you were on death row and you had one last meal option, it could be anything you wanted. Anything. And as much of it as you wanted. Drinks, food, whatever. What would it be?
This is a very hard question. I love food.
Yeah. Be like your mom's baked ziti or something, or grandma's bundt cake.
Grandma did make a pretty good lemon bundt cake.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I kind of want to just say steak and taters. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
That's
fine.
a very hard question.
That's fine. I'll tell you mine. And I say the same thing every week when I ask people. Mine is fresh blueberry pancakes, sausage patties, a big steak, New York strip steak, 2 eggs over easy, hash browns, and a nice, tall, cold beer.
Yeah, breakfast is a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
It is probably my favorite.
It's either that or like a fat piece of lasagna.
Lasagna would wreck me.
Yeah. Well, who cares? You're going to die.
Honestly, I'm boring when it comes to drinks. Like, good old tall water, like, it's good enough for me. Mm-hmm. Steak is definitely, I love so many different foods.
Yeah.
Strawberry shortcake would be in there for sure.
Yeah.
Probably some waffles. I don't know. Tater tots.
I was going to say, what kind of potatoes?
All forms of potatoes.
Yeah.
Mashed taters. I want baked taters. I want them like cut up, cubed, and baked as well, or even the air fryer. But tater tots definitely take the top for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
They're my guilty pleasure.
Nice. Great last meal. And great conversation.
Carbs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Great conversation. Thank you so much for coming on, Rebekka. Tell us where we can find you on Instagram, online, any of that stuff.
We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Our handles are Battleground Fitness Saratoga. We do have a website, which is battlegroundfitness.com, I believe. And then we're located at 426 Maple Ave, right in Saratoga. So we're just down the road from the Triangle Diner, since we were just talking about breakfast foods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you can get a workout and a post-workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't miss us. Got the big blue logos right on the front of the window. So
Yep.
just come by, check us out.
It's a great place. You can find us both there, as well as Coach Kenny and a great group of members that are, it's a community. It really is. It's a group of friends at this point for me.
Yep,
and everybody that goes there, I feel like, knows each other and hangs out. We're going to a party soon to celebrate one of the members. That should be a good time. So it's a great crew of people. Come down and check it out. Come check out a class. You do a first class free?
Yep, that's correct. So if you're local, just go right to our website and you can sign up for the first class right there. Come on in, check out any day you would want. And then after that, we do have a 2-week trial. Gives people plenty of opportunity to try out all different classes, meet all the coaches, different class times, whatever might work for you. So.
And there's tons of different membership options as well.
We have 3 different tiers for memberships. We have package options. So if you're someone who travels a lot or has a weird work schedule and can't come consistently each week, so pretty much find something that suits you.
Great. All right. Pop in for a class. Reba, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you coming on, and we'll have to have you on again.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Green Fork Food for Thought podcast. We'll see you next week. Stay healthy, my friends.